In many ways, it's the key to winning in November, but doesn't get a whole lot of attention. The census. This coming election is the first since the release of the 2020 census, which of course not only counts all Americans every 10 years, but also has a significant impact on our demographic makeup, especially in our swing states. For more on a few specific examples of how census changes could play a major role on this year's election, I'm joined by Jacobson, a contributor for US News and World Report and senior author of the American Almanac of Politics. Louis, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we dive into some specific swing states and really swing counties, explain why the changes in the census can play such an important role in this election.
If you put it simply, most of the faster growing states right now are red, and most of the slower growing states are blue. If you play this out for a decade, then Texas would gain 4 electoral votes, Florida would gain 3, Idaho, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah would gain 1 each. Meanwhile, on the Democratic side, California would lose 4 seats, New York would lose 3. There's a bit of a silver lining for the Democrats. A lot of the population growth we're seeing is actually from folks leaving blue states and going to red states. So this is feeding more blue-leaning voters into some of the Sun Belt states, and perhaps leading to a longer-term flip possibility. This sort of thing's already happened in Arizona and Georgia, which were solidly Republican states for a long time. Joe Biden won them both in 2020. Very tight for 2024, of course, and it's possible that Trump could win them back. But they're definitely competitive, which they weren't before. So it's possible that some of this Democratic shift from the blue states to the red states could have an impact further down the road.
You cite 3 areas in 3 of our swing states that you think illustrates your point. Let's start with a county we reference a lot on this show, Maricopa County, Arizona. What's going on there in terms of the census changes?
It's got several key demographic groups politically. It's got a lot of Hispanics. It's got a lot of moderate suburban Republicans, and it's got a lot of senior citizens. Those are groups that are really up for grabs. In recent elections, a lot of the moderate Republicans are tending to shift over for the Democrats when there's a Republican who's nominated who is further to the right. Okay,
staying out west, and another county we hear a lot about, Clark County in Nevada. Walk us through what's going on there.
Clark County includes Las Vegas, and it's home to about 3/4 of the Nevada population. So it's the single biggest factor in winning the state. Clark County is very diverse. It's about 39% white, 33% Hispanic, 14% black, and 11% Asian. It's got a larger share of foreign-born residents, 22%, compared to the U.S. as a whole, which is 14%. And actually a slightly smaller share of senior citizens. These are all, key groups for just sort of building a winning coalition for either party.
Now to North Carolina and the key area of Wake County. Why is that so important?
Wake County is home to the state capital, Raleigh. And it's the most populous county in North Carolina. It's got an extremely high level of educational attainment. It's got 56% of residents there have a bachelor's degree, and the national rate is 34%. And the household income is 29% higher than the national level. So you've got, affluent, well-educated people in Wake County who are a group that has been definitely trending Democratic. The state is still very competitive and actually still leans slightly red. Basically, what's been happening in North Carolina is the urban and suburban areas have becoming more and more blue over time, but the rural areas have become more and more red over time. And it's in this sort of, kind of almost delicate balance where they're kind of growing at the same rate and shifting at the same rate. And so you're seeing a very competitive state, but one where the Democrats can't quite yet guarantee that they can win the presidential or Senate races.
Thanks. And for more on this and all things Battleground, visit us at battlegroundnews.com, where you can sign up for our daily newsletter, access our interactive swing state map, visit our social media sites, and give us feedback on the biggest issues of the 2024 race.